In Google's smartphone series, yes, the Pixel 4 is actually only surpassed by the recently released Pixel 6 in terms of raw power, but is it an upgrade worth making? Well, let's find out together.
9 to 5 Google is sponsored by NVIDIA GeForce Now, the cloud gaming service that transforms nearly any laptop, desktop, Chromebook, Mac, Shield TV, Android smartphone or tablet into a powerful gaming PC rig, even via the Chrome browser. GeForce Now gives you instant access to over 1,000 games, including 90 of the biggest and best free-to-play titles on PC. Stick around to the end of the video to learn more about how GeForce Now can get you gaming on every device you own.
So for those of you out there that were unaware, that's likely no fault of yours, as in 2020 the Pixel 5 and 4a 5G offered mid-range internals that meant a confusing situation whereby the previous generation, the Pixel 4 and 4 XL, actually offered greater under-the-hood grunt than the latest generation, at least back in 2020. Google suggested that 5G was the reason for this, but it felt a little painful when fans expected a top-tier flagship Pixel phone with a flagship processor. Although the Pixel 4 and 4 XL have problems of their own, they do remain at number 2 in the Pixel power charts now that the Pixel 6 and 6 Pro have arrived. We're here though to discuss and directly compare 2019's best against 2021's best to work out whether an upgrade is warranted or if you should just stick with your existing smartphone. Let's compare the Pixel 4 series to the Pixel 6 series and see just how things stack up. So on paper there is quite a big gulf between the Pixel 4 and the Pixel 6 series. However, as we all know, it's a little more nuanced when it comes to Pixel hardware. There is one obvious standout smartphone in the lineup here, namely the Pixel 6 Pro. It's the biggest and arguably best made by Google smartphone to date with few compromises to speak of. Conversely, the Pixel 4 may be a nicely crafted smartphone, but it's held back by what is a borderline offensive battery capacity, especially the smaller version. Benchmarks also suggest that the Pixel 6 Pro in particular, and by extension the Pixel 6, is substantially faster than the Pixel 4 and 4 XL in just about every area in which these kind of benchmark tests directly compare these devices. The Pixel 4 and the smaller Pixel 6 include some similar design traits. Think matte black side rails, and they are included on both devices, which is an excellent way to add in some grip and differentiate from a sea of similar smartphones already littering the market. However, it is worth noting the footprint is greatly increased on the 2021 devices. You will have to decide if a sizable step up is worth it, as the Pixel 4 XL is completely dwarfed by the Pixel 6 Pro and actually compares more directly to the standard Pixel 6, which itself is a big phone in its own right. One of the biggest benefits to the new models though is not only the improved Tensor chipset, but the inclusion of 5G connectivity. The Pixel 4 and 4 XL do not have access to super fast data networks in the same way and remain 4G only. With greater availability of 5G networks across the globe, this is now a reason to opt for such devices, as it ensures you'll be able to access faster data throughput in the coming years, and it is well worth future-proofing your purchase. The RAM capacities also take a notable and important step up from 6 to 8GB and 12GB on the 6 and 6 Pro respectively. While 6GB of RAM is acceptable, it could pose problems with future Android updates, but it seems absolutely fine, at least for the time being. You will likely though notice some substantial speed and performance gain courtesy of the move to UFS 3.1 storage, which is used within the Google Pixel 6 and 6 Pro. This will mean things like faster app loading times, and in things like file transfers, it is instantly apparent just which is the more powerful smartphone. Since 2019 though, Google has adopted 90Hz refresh rates on all flagship tier devices, but there are a few key differences you might want to be aware of. Firstly, the Pixel 4 and Pixel 6 include Full HD Plus displays, while the Pixel 4 XL and Pixel 6 Pro include QHD Plus displays. Only the Pixel 6 Pro comes with a 120Hz refresh rate, and this also includes a curved screen, while others include a more palatable, at least for many of you out there, flat displays. It's worth noting every UI interaction is precise and smooth, no matter which smartphone you do happen to use here, but it is a tale of forehead versus hole punch on the two displays. The Soli radar sensor and 3D face scanning technology that is packed into the Pixel 4 and 4 XL means that there is a substantial top bezel or forehead on display. This is not at all that problematic, as at least you don't really lose any display space as a result of the inclusion. On the Pixel 6 and 6 Pro though, you gain a centrally placed punch hole notch. This is not too much of an issue, but it is more noticeable with certain UI portions when watching videos or gaming in landscape mode. Tensor does have some other benefits though on this device in areas such as image processing and when gaming. You may notice higher frame rates, but the 90Hz displays on the Pixel 4 and 4 XL and the Pixel 6 are very similar across the board, despite some size and shape differences. The Pixel 6 series though does have a slight edge, courtesy of a greater maximum brightness level across the board on both of the Pixel 6 and 6 Pro displays. In terms of design, similar materials are used across the entire lineup, but there is a lot of difference in the execution. The frosted rear panel of the Pixel 4 and 4 XL makes way for glossy, lighter finishes on the Pixel 6 and 6 Pro. There's also a substantial black camera bar, rather than the squircle dual camera bump found on the Pixel 4 series, for what it's worth. We'd say that the design of the Pixel 4 is definitely more approachable, but the Pixel 6 and particularly the 6 Pro definitely feel more like the kind of flagships that we're used to seeing from other OEMs like Samsung and Xiaomi. Whether you care for one design or the other will be a personal decision. Audio and haptics though are very similar between the Pixel 4 and Pixel 6 series and very hard to tell apart, which is a definite bonus. Despite the obvious hardware and age difference, the Pixel 4 and Pixel 6 series do run the very latest Android 12 build, and both will be soon eligible for the Android 12L beta and subsequent release in mid-2022. The core OS is identical, but there are a few areas in which the devices do differ quite substantially. Because of course there is a Soleil radar chip tucked inside the Pixel 4 and 4 XL's top bezel, you can access things like hands-free controls and some extra features. Many of these are great additions, but not working quite as well as they probably should for everybody out there. There is also the excellent Active Edge feature that lets you squeeze the device to quickly access the Google Assistant. This has been missing from all Pixel devices since the release of the Pixel 4a in late 2020, including the Pixel 6 and 6 Pro, which do have other activation methods available within the software. There's also an optical in-display fingerprint scanner used on the Pixel 6 and 6 Pro for biometrics, which is the sole biometric authentication method here. Compared to other smartphones, this is slow, and when compared directly to the Pixel 4's Face Unlock, it is in fact very slow, as Face Unlock is very, very rapid. It's also worth noting you will only expect one more upgrade to Android 13 with the Pixel 4 and 4 XL in 2022, as both devices will see that last update because they shipped back in 2019 with Android 10 pre-installed. Conversely, the Pixel 6 and 6 Pro will be the most supported Google smartphones to date, with 3 full OS upgrades and a total of 5 years of security updates included, which makes them a very good long-term bet. Many of the Pixel 6 series exclusive features are also tied to the Tensor chip, including things such as live translation, face and blur motion modes, and Magic Eraser. These features could come to older models, including the Pixel 4 series, via a Pixel feature drop, but at this stage, it's not entirely clear. These features are mainly focused upon the camera and associated software, which means that the Pixel 4 has an edge, courtesy of some of those unique solely focused and face unlock focused content. Without even reeling off the inherent battery gains, it is an easy win for the Pixel 6 series over the Pixel 4 series when it comes to daily longevity. There is a substantial size increase with a massive 49% increase from Pixel 4 to Pixel 6 and 30% increase from Pixel 4 XL to Pixel 6 Pro battery capacities. You don't actually need to disable features on the Pixel 6 or 6 Pro to attain all-day longevity, which is something that couldn't be said about the Pixel 4 series, especially that smaller model. There are some reports online of mediocre battery life on the Pixel 6 and 6 Pro, but we're seeing vastly improved lifespans compared to 2019's Pixel 4 and 4 XL for what it's worth. The Pixel 6 and 6 Pro also benefit by including the fastest charging of any made by Google phone to date. And although Google advertised charge speeds at 30 watt, it actually appears to be much lower in practice. Tests have concluded that the new Pixel devices can only charge up to 22 watts via a USB-C cable. This isn't a big jump over the 18 watt speeds that you'll find on the Pixel 4, but wireless charging speeds have been said to be boosted to 23 watts with the dedicated Pixel Stand 2, which as of this video going live is not yet available to purchase, but should be available on the Google Store at some point in the future. It is worth noting that the Pixel 4 does stack up fairly well though, even despite the smaller battery, as charging speeds are lower, but it is mitigated by the decreased internal cell size across both devices. Reverse wireless charging is only though available on the new hardware and does allow you to charge an external device or accessory at up to 5 watts through the back of the device. As some of you may know, the Pixel 6 series signifies what is the biggest leap in the camera setup and in conjunction with the return of the Pixel neural core, things do take a substantial forward step over previous generations. At the very heart of the new devices is the Samsung GN1 sensor. This 50 megapixel camera sensor means sharper photos, but with added depth and improved natural bokeh effects, as the sensor itself is much larger. As for the Pixel 4 series, these two devices were the first to ship with a telephoto zoom lens, and it's backed by super res zoom. The results do hold up well courtesy of that 2x physical telephoto and the benefit of 7x digital zoom via super res, as we mentioned. If you want an ultra wide lens though, then you will need to upgrade, as a wider sensor was not added until the Pixel 4a and Pixel 5 in late 2020. The Pixel 6 continues that tradition, but the Pixel 6 Pro is the only Google phone to include 3 focal lengths in one device for the very first time. We think you'll notice some fairly substantial differences between images taken on that newer, larger Samsung GN1 sensor, but it is worth noting that the Pixel 4 holds up incredibly well given its age and usage of the older Sony IMX363 sensor. One area where things are not quite as pronounced is with regard to image processing. The improved Pixel neural core is included as part of the 10th chip. That means processing times are only marginally faster on the Pixel 6 as they are on the Pixel 4. There are although some other benefits here, with real-time HDR effects when recording 4K video also available on the Pixel 6 that you simply won't find on older Pixel smartphones. If you do want more video features, then it is highly recommended that you look towards the Pixel 6 and 6 Pro. This has always felt like an area that has been neglected slightly in favour of still photos on Pixel devices and that processing as a result. However, it is worth noting that the overall video capabilities and qualities are improved across the board on the Pixel 6 series compared to older devices. So in summary, we want to say, I think if you already own the Pixel 4 and 4 XL and have no long-standing battery issues or concerns, then the Pixel 6 series might be a tougher sell than you would imagine. One could argue that despite the battery issues, the Pixel 4 series is pretty underrated overall. The hardware is great and either model is still very capable in almost all areas, save the battery as we mentioned. The Pixel 6 offers a marginal step up in most and almost all areas. The Pixel 6 Pro though is more of a forwards leap across the board. It's improved in just about every single section, but it comes with some compromises you might not want to make. It's understandable that you might not want to give up things such as face unlock or a flat display, but you will gain the best Pixel camera setup to date and a much bigger capable battery. However, given the Pixel 4 series is still technically the second most powerful Pixel to date, we'd actually recommend holding on a little longer. We'll likely see even greater performance gains with devices powered by second generation Tensor chips, and you'll probably see more pronounced and meaningful improvements across all areas of your smartphone. That said, I've talked for a little while now comparing these 4 devices, and I want to hear your thoughts. Is the Pixel 6 and 6 Pro an upgrade over the Pixel 4 and 4 XL? And if you own either of the 2019 flagships and are looking to switch, then do let me know down in the comment sections below. But until next time, this is Damien with 9to5 Google saying thanks for watching, and I will speak to you later.